ever. That's
We're
the
never
nature of.
ready.
Yeah, that's why it's
That's our
the
brand.
unready room. I know. We gotta
Exactly.
stay true.
Exactly. Yep,
Gotta stay
definitely.
true.
Well, living up to our name, we are unready, but it's 7 o'clock in our time zone, so it's time to hit go live. Hi everyone, I'm Dan Gunther. With me, of course, Brandi Jackola, and welcome to the Unready Room. Um, we'll try and clear you a spot. You know, we have papers piled everywhere, and we really weren't expecting company. It's just how we do things around here.
Yeah, I haven't dusted in months. I'm so
Mm,
sorry.
I've got trash all around. Hold on. Okay. Yeah, I think we're okay. It'll be fine. Um, yeah. So we're here today to talk about an episode of Lower Decks, the Spy Humongous, and yeah. Um, I feel like we both have lots of thoughts on this episode. Unlike usual, we didn't have a very long discussion before we went live, so I'm not totally sure how Brandi feels about this episode, and I haven't said anything about how I feel about it yet either. So this should be a fun discussion.
It will be. It'll be a surprise for everyone.
Absolutely. I do also have to say, I just learned in the last few minutes Bruce won't be able to make it this evening, so apologies for that. Very sad. And yeah, I clearly am not ready because I'm not. Whoops, I hit the wrong one. I'm not wearing a big enough helmet. So no, that's the problem. That's a problem.
Yeah, all my helmets are big because my head is big. I have a giant Celtic head.
Nice, excellent. Well, so first of all, welcome to everybody watching us live, and welcome to everyone who's watching this later. We really do appreciate it. Thank you so much for joining us. And yeah, really, really happy to be home after all this time, and again, just talking about Star Trek. I've really missed this. Like, I can't state how much I miss just being able to do this. So, so happy.
And we missed you. We missed you
Oh,
terribly.
well, thank you. That's very nice of you to say. Spready, how are you doing today? Because we didn't get to do this talk beforehand.
I'm
Is
too
that a
old for
is that a
this.
loaded question?
No, I'm so old. I'm so old and out of shape. Okay, so FanX is going on right now, which is our nerd convention. It started on Thursday. And today we didn't go even for the full day because we had a wedding to go to. One of my
Oh
best
wow.
friends in the world, my brother from another mother, a little mother, my little brother from another mother. That's it. That's it. And by that I mean a completely different family. We're not in any way blood related unless you go back really, really far. And he got married today, and we went to the wedding, and it was beautiful and wonderful and made me cry. And then I changed clothes in the car. Yes, I know how to change clothes without revealing my naughty bits. And it's an art form that women learn at a very early age. And we went to FanX, and I got to talk to Larry Nemeczek, so that was fun. He's always fun to talk to. We had a long conversation about Doctor Who. That was great. And the walking is killing me, you guys. I hate walking. I want transporters. Please,
Oh
just
man, I hear
transport
you.
me from here to over there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and then we came home in rush hour traffic so that we could be here for this, for which I'm very grateful that I get to be here for this. And so this
Oh.
is now my time.
Well, I'm so glad you were able to make it. That's awesome. So yeah, really happy to be here to talk about Lower Decks, like I said, with my esteemed colleague Captain Janeway here. And wait, no, that's not right. I'm
No,
not
I kind of
definitely not
like
the
it.
first one to make that joke. Obviously,
That's
everybody's
a,
already made that joke in the comments.
you can make that about me anytime. I'll happily pretend to be Captain Janeway.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, that's high praise. Absolutely. But I did like that. So let's start with that because of just the little bit of meta commentary that, like, oh, it's a woman captain, must be Captain Way. She's the woman captain, right? Was I
Right.
reading too much into that, or was that kind of, you know?
No, that's pretty much it, because every ship is the Enterprise. And so
Mm-hmm.
if it's
Yep.
not Picard, then it must be the only female captain, which is Janeway. Janeway is the only female captain
Exactly.
to the Packlets.
Yeah, for sure. The Packlets maybe just might be like internet bros, right? I don't know. Started maybe I shouldn't
They're
wade
dude
too far
bros.
into the. I should probably be careful.
Oh, I love that. Packlets are just dude bros. I love it.
Uh, so yeah, we start off with Captain Freeman and Shax beaming down to the Packled homeworld, which the Packlids call Packled Planet, uh, to negotiate
Boy,
a ceasefire. Apparently,
I was surprised that Shax didn't have some PTSD being amongst all that many Packlets again. But then Shax is Shax. So
yeah, I feel like that was the best day of his life. He said at the time,
probably
so he probably has warm, fuzzy memories of that day.
it's like, oh, I hope a Packlet steps out of line. It's probably his mindset.
Absolutely, yeah. So yeah, they're to negotiate peace, but then we find out from the Packlids that apparently their prisoner Rumdar has escaped to the Cerritos, and apparently, yeah, he's aboard the Cerritos, and ostensibly a seeking asylum, but it's pretty apparent fairly early on that he's just the world's worst, universe's worst spy of some sort here. So I thought that was interesting. The Packlids are something that I feel like can get old pretty fast.
Mm.
So I was kind of struggling a bit as the episode wore on, just because, like, but it was interesting. It was fun to have him aboard. And yeah, I don't know. What did you think of Rumdar in this episode?
Rumdar was freaking hilarious. He was the best part of anything of the Packlets. And I love that basically this particular episode is taunting people. Yes, he took a picture of his foot. He's this episode is taunting the Star Trek Online shop to carry Cerritos merchandise
Mm-hmm.
because he's got the Cerritos shirt and cap. Just it's basically just saying, "Hey, we need more merch.
Mm-hmm.
Merch sells. Everybody wants it." I think that was kind of just like a wink wink on that. But yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
love that we got to see more Kayshawn because it's been a while since
That
we've
was
seen
cool
him
too.
actually
Yeah.
say anything. I always love it when he's there. I would watch a whole episode just about Kayshawn and him trying to communicate with people. I mean,
Definitely.
he's doing really well. He's doing really well.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
Favorite
but
Kate
my
Sean.
favorite part.
Sorry.
No,
No,
you
go
go
ahead,
ahead.
please. I was
I was
just gonna
just
say
gonna
my
say,
favorite Kayshawn moment. This delay is
go,
killing us.
go,
I'm so
go,
sorry.
go, go. I'm waiting.
Favorite Kayshawn moment in the whole episode was when he notices Rumdar floating outside the window, and he just turns and he's like, "Shaka." I don't know why I love that so much.
I was just going to say that very thing.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. We're of the same mind. I
Totally.
love that part so much when he's just floating there, just frozen.
Hmm.
It's just it's funny that just Shaka when the walls fell, just you just shorten it to Shaka, and that's a swear word in their language.
That was so great. I also
Oh,
loved that they just gloss over the fact that he survived. Like, Doctor's
mhm.
like, well, I don't know how the F he survived, but he's totally fine. And then she walks away. Okay.
Yeah,
That was great.
that was great. It still makes me laugh out loud every time I see it, and I've seen it twice now, but I'm going to watch it a few more times because there were a lot of things going on with the other plot line, and
Hmm.
things that were being collected. But, yeah, it was well, actually, there's really 3 plot lines, wasn't there?
Hmm.
So,
Yeah, for
the A,
sure.
B,
We've
and
got
C.
Boimler and I've been noticing that them doing that more in lower decks. Like, there's really a lot put into these, 25 to 30-minute episodes. It's pretty crazy what they're able to cram in there, because yeah, there are really 3 distinct storylines going on in most of the episodes this season.
Yeah, and it proves that you can do it and keep it interesting, and they can do that in longer shows. Hint, hint. It doesn't have to just be A and B. Just saying.
Absolutely, yeah. One other thing with regards to Rumdar is, and I put this in the Positively Trek discussion group, now that Playmates has the license to do Star Trek action figures from across the universe again, I want a return to the days of the 90s where like every minor character had an action figure, and I want a Rumdar action figure with the hat and t-shirt, because I want that on my shelf.
It has to be. He spent most of his time in that shirt and hat. So that's the way that action figure should be designed.
Definitely. And then Patrick calls out my favorite line of his, "Can I have all your codes now?" Just getting rid of all pretense here. Yeah.
Yep.
Great stuff.
Yep.
That was fun. So that's kind of the one storyline that's going on, and throughout all that we get Freeman and Shax on the surface trying to negotiate with the Packlids, and we get the, I don't have a big enough helmet to negotiate peace, and we get the ridiculous thing with the helmets and the revolution, and we've got a queen, a king, an emperor, and then a rebel leader that's going to eschew all helmets until he sees how big that helmet is, and he's like, okay, no, I'm definitely gonna wear this helmet. Yeah, I don't know what more to say about that. I enjoyed it, but again, a little bit of Packlid goes a long way for me.
Yeah, but it is, I like the fact that they return to that with the whole, what happened before at the end of last season, and now they're trying to negotiate a ceasefire. And so of course they send Freeman, because nobody who has any clout wants to go do that. So of course they send Freeman.
Yeah.
Like,
So
yeah, we're not going to send the Titan. No.
Nah.
Send the Cerritos. That's fine.
Yeah, her experience battling the Packlids and how she distinguished herself will get her the ability to go talk to the Packlids. It won't get her into a really cool party, but they'll let her talk with the Packlid leadership, because yeah, who wants to do that? Absolutely
nobody wants to do that.
No. So we've got let's go to, I guess, Tendi, Rutherford, and Mariner this time around, who have what was it, anomaly, shoot, I've already forgotten it, anomaly conglomeration duty, something like that. I can't remember, darn it.
Yeah, basically they're collecting it for disposal. Picking up the trash.
Yeah, gathering the trash, right, from the senior officers. Absolutely. So that was fun. I love Tendi, and I mean her enthusiasm and her just general outlook, which is kind of the thing this whole episode pivots on. I love that. And like that scene, just as one example, where they're going into the quarters, and Mariner and Rutherford are like, and she's skipping ahead of them into the room. I just love that. She's such a great character.
She is a great character. Her optimism knows no bounds. Even when she's down, she's not down for the count. She's unstoppable, I guess is the best word. She's relentlessly upbeat. That might get on somebody's nerves, but I find it refreshing. And
I love it. Yeah.
I do love how excited she was over every single thing that they found. Until she got swallowed by a screaming slug and then pooped out.
Yeah, there was that. That has a tendency to kind of ruin your day a little bit. And
honestly, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, please.
I was just gonna say I found that screaming slug so funny. Because just of the scream, and then when they finally hit it with the right hypo spray, it's just got this tiny scream. I'm like, oh, put it in a jar. I want to keep it as a pet.
Oh, that was terrific.
It's so funny.
I don't know if it's in a jar as a pet, and when it gets disturbed or whatever, that's what happens. I don't know if I want that around, but yeah, there's a very graphic exit of Tendi from that creature as well.
Yeah.
That's
Well, come
it's kind
on.
of image
Who
that
of us
sticks with you
hasn't
there.
been? Who of us hasn't been pooped out by some alien
Don't touch
insect
me!
at some point or another?
I love
Well,
that.
well,
Yeah.
yeah, to be fair, Boimler wasn't pooped out, he was kinda spat out and just left,
That's true. Yeah.
because that spider was just gumming on him to get some moisture.
Yep.
Never not funny.
Oh my
Ugh,
god. It's so great. I need to do a rewatch of season 1 actually because yeah, it's such a great show. And
so
yeah,
good.
it's been really good this season as well. I'm really enjoying this. So
Same.
yeah, really kind of found its voice, I think. For better or for worse. Sometimes they're not afraid to kind of go bigger.
Oh, yeah.
Which it was speaking of going bigger, we get the extra jumbo sized Rutherford as he swells to gargantuan proportions.
I looked at that and I thought, "Oh, that would be me after a bee sting."
Oh no. Yeah.
I felt that. Like, my feet already look like that when I'm on them too long. Just so puffy.
Oh no, that's not good.
Oh, poor guy.
Um oh, I like someone pointed out the scream sounds like a screaming goat. Oh, that's true. I
I
never thought of that. Yeah.
I didn't either, but yes, it did sound like a screaming goat.
Yeah.
Oh,
And as TJ says, that was a definite cartoon sphincter. Yep.
oh, it
There's
absolutely was. We all know what that would look like. Yeah.
Yep, definitely. So yeah, Tendy's enthusiasm is getting worn down as Mariner and Mariner and Rutherford. I almost said Mariner and Boimler. I'm so used to those two being paired together. It's nice to get that shake up again,
Yep.
as Mariner and Rutherford are constantly down about this, and I have to say I've worked with people like that, and it drives me nuts because, and I think you and I are kind of on the same level here. We're very empathetic. So I
Yes.
immediately pick up the mood of the people around me. So yeah, if people are,
Mhm.
dragging their feet and, complaining, I'm not going to use the other word I was about to say, but complaining about every little thing, it really drags me down. So I totally I empathized with Tendi in this episode because I always try to be the kind of upbeat person, but man, I can get dragged down pretty easily, and it's hard. It's a hard thing to resist and push back against.
Yes. Well, I recently read an article, and I wish I could remember who it was by and who was cited as references, etc. But it's been basically proven that empaths do exist. It's
Hmm.
not something where they're like, "No, you're not empathetic, you're sympathetic." No. No, there is a difference. And this woman who was talking about her own experience and researching all of this, she's like me. She's not only an empath, but a highly sensitive person, which means crowds overwhelm her and people's
Hmm.
moods will affect her whether she wants them to or not. And so, there is such a thing as a psychic attack, and people don't necessarily know that they're doing that, but people like us are affected by that. And
Hmm.
it can really just be very difficult to deal with someone else's problems on top of your own.
Hmm. Absolutely, yeah. It's something that, like, as a teacher, I've had to struggle with too, because you have, especially teaching high school, a room full of 35 kids, each a conflicting mass of emotions and impulses, which is, I think, how Spock describes women in the original series, which is
Mm.
a horribly sexist line, but I always think of that exact description as like a room full of high school students. I'm like, that's what that's actually describing. And yeah, it's brutal sometimes. So yeah, that's something that I don't miss about being in a classroom either. So no.
Yeah, so you can imagine what it's like for me at a convention.
Ugh, yeah. Nope. Don't want to do that.
Yeah, well, I have luckily I have Dave there as a buffer, and stop when I start to get overwhelmed. And
Mm,
because I start to get bombarded by all of these people and their emotions and their attitudes, and there's no way to block that when I'm in that big of a crowd. So
mhm.
far it hasn't really happened this go around, but I think that there were people who decided not to come to FanX because there was a mask mandate. So, oh, I'm not gonna wear a mask, so I'm out of this one. Bye. Don't let the door hit you on the way out.
Yeah, yeah. Um, I could talk about that kind of stuff in my home province of Alberta, which I've been noticing is making international news because of how terribly our government has handled the pandemic. And now we've had to institute all the vaccine passports and all that stuff, a few months too late, but, we're there. And yeah, I love all the people saying that they're going to boycott all the restaurants that require a vaccine passport. I'm like, it's not a boycott if they don't let you in.
Mhm.
Anyway,
Yeah.
all right.
They wanna make it sound like it's their choice.
Mm-hmm. No.
Mhm. Whatever. Whatever.
All right. Well, we'll leave all that to the side because that's what I spend 90% of my time talking about now. So
Yeah.
lower decks, lower decks.
Yeah, let's talk more about lower decks and yay, empaths. I see there's some in the chat.
Yeah, I'm
Let
seeing
us
that a lot of people.
unite. We are needed. We are needed desperately. We can't let the others bring us down.
Here, absolutely. I feel like empathy, and even just more basic than that. I'm gonna go on my big like theory about Star Trek and stuff now. I think like empathy, and like I said, even more basic than that, just caring about your fellow human being is something that shows up in Star Trek fandom to a much greater degree than the population at large. Maybe I'm wrong about
Agreed.
that. Maybe I'm being a little bit elitist about my fellow Star Trek fans, but I feel like this show and the ideas behind it and the shows that it spawned and that sort of thing have engendered that over the last 55 years. And I'm proud to be a member of the Star Trek fan community. That's one group that I'm just like, when I was a kid, of course, like a lot of us when we were younger, I hid it away and, kept it secret because of mockery and all that stuff. But as an adult, it's one of the groups in this world that I'm so proud to be a part of because I feel like it says something about the people in it that they're Star Trek fans. So that's my little
Yeah.
rant today. Positive rant.
I, positive rant. Yeah, I didn't have to hide it away because my appearance was enough to make me a bully target. So it didn't really matter
No,
if I liked Star Trek, Star Wars, or whatever. So it's
no.
all good.
Oh, yeah. No, I hear you. I had a bunch of other stuff too. So, like, I did not want to add Star Trek on top of that. So, anyway. Um, so our other story that's going on here, and it'll kind of cross over with the B plot as well, is Boimler and him kind of falling in with the crowd of Jennifer, this
The
ensign named
Andorian.
Castro. Yeah, the Andorian Jennifer. This ensign Casey, ensign Castro, and this Kazinti ensign we've seen a couple of times now, who finally gets some lines, and we get to see a little bit more of him. And uh, we need to talk about. I know Aaron's already been all over this, but like the drooped shoulders. It's like, oh my god, this is so perfect.
So,
Um,
when I on Star Trek Day, I was watching the animated series as basically I got through most of season 1. And of course, I was paying close attention to the episode where they encounter the Kzinti and the big boxes, the big black boxes and whatnot.
mhm.
And and I thought they basically just made them look like a cat about to pounce, but standing on their back legs. And so when the Kzinti's like saying to Boimler, your posture, and he goes down like this, I just busted up. Started
It's
laughing.
so perfect.
I started laughing so hard.
That was beautiful. I was just like,
Oh.
it was one of those moments, and there's like 3 or 4 of these per episode where I'm just like scrambling for the remote control, and I pause and I have to explain to Nikki why I'm laughing so damn hard at something because she'll shoot me a look like, you know. And she's a big Star Trek fan. Like, we've watched almost all of Star Trek together, but we haven't watched the animated series yet, which, Aaron, we do intend to do. Before you jump down my throat, we do intend to do that. But yeah, I had to explain that one and just why it was so funny. Um, sorry, I love this. Now that we know the Kazinti dude's rank, my headcanon is that his name is Chuffed Ensign until they give him a name. Beautiful.
Yes. Thank you. That's going to be my headcanon now too. I love it. I love it.
Wonderful. If there is anybody in the audience watching who does not get the reference, go watch the animated series episode, The Slaver Weapon, and it will all make sense. Or, if you don't want to have fun, just read the Memory Alpha article, but watch the episode because, yeah, it's great. Written by Larry Niven, famed, terrific novelist, by the way, and also the Kazinti is an invention of his in his own literary universe that he brought into the Star Trek universe. So they're kind of a unique species that way. I really like that bit of history.
Yes, agree.
Yeah, and sorry, thank you. Larry Niven Known Space is Known Space is his series of novels that they're very good. I feel like I read a couple of them a long time ago, and I need to read those again because, yeah. Anyway. So yeah, we have those ensigns. Sorry, I got on a Kazinti tangent there, but we were
going to go there. We were always going to go there.
Absolutely. They have this club, and they call themselves the Red Shirts because it makes them feel invincible. Oh, it's so great.
Oh, yeah. Just like,
yeah.
This was, my face was just like,
yeah.
Of course they would. And I thought, this is not a group of people that Boimler should be with.
Yeah. Not good. They're showing a surprising lack of self-awareness, I think. Which is already setting off alarm bells, I think, in Boimler's head, but he gets the stars in his eyes because they want to talk to him about Riker, his experiences with Riker, and in exchange, they're going to help groom him for advancing, right? Getting this acting captain post kind of thing. And Boimler gets a little starstruck and decides, I'm going to hang out with these guys. They get him out of the duty that they have to perform. Which Boimler was the only one who was excited about it besides Tendi. So, I kind of felt bad about that, but he's going to tell them all about Riker. How much does Riker clean his trombone? Was a question that they asked him. And he said, almost too much. It got pretty, what was it, annoying or something like that. But, and then was it, what's his name? Casey, I think, says, I got to get something brass to blow on, or something like that. Like, yeah. No. Honestly, not a great group of people, but we do get the acting captain improv
class, my lord.
I guess.
Oh my lord, it was an improv class. It was absolutely an improv class because I have taken improv classes. And so both Dave and I were just busting up during that scene because it was just like, this is an improv class.
That was terrific.
It was.
Also, I mean, obviously I'm going to shout this out, how lovingly recreated the Enterprise D's bridge was there in animation. That was so nice. I love that.
It was beautiful. Really pretty.
But Boimler kind of caught a little bit of that little something there and really gave an inspiring kind of captain speech. I think we're seeing little hints of, not the faked, fake muscles under the shirt and hair, not that fake persona, but I think he's got a little something that's going to lead to some great things in his career. I mean, he got recognized by Riker and moved to the Titan already. I think that's just a little indication of things to come for him. I think he's going to turn into a pretty good leader.
I really think he will too, and I think that it will not only be his experiences on the Titan, but also the experiences with his friends are going
Hmm.
to make him just a better person in general, but it's because of his knowledge of his friends and just his general knowledge about stuff that nobody else cares about that he's able to do what he does at the end of this episode.
Yeah. So let's talk about that because Tendi starts, like I said, like we were saying, to get down about stuff, and she ends up turning into this big
Scorpion.
scorpion type creature. Yeah. And Boimler really steps up and knows how to get her to change back by basically creating positive emotions in her by having her laugh at him being a buffoon, which I thought that was great. And I really wanted to like kind of juxtapose that with Boimler of season one, where I think it was the second episode where he's with Mariner on the planet and he has all this book knowledge, but he doesn't have the ability to execute it the way Mariner just seems to effortlessly. And now we're seeing that he has all that knowledge and he's able to, how do I put this politely, like access the parts of his personality that would allow those skills to be used. In this case, to, fall on his face and act like an idiot, playing to his strengths, so he's finding the, in a humorous way, obviously he's finding the way that he's going to be a good officer by playing to his personal strengths, not trying to be this Starfleet hero where he's all muscly. And I was wondering, by the way, also if the muscles under the shirt were like a little bit of a tongue-in-cheek homage to the fact that all of the Starfleet uniforms in the Next Generation were actually padded out to make all of the actors look more muscular than they were. If you've never heard Will Wheaton talk about his fake muscles under his acting ensign's uniform, it's definitely worth checking out. But I was like, is that a reference to that? Anyway.
I think it is, actually.
It felt
I
like
think it
it,
is.
yeah.
Especially when they use the Enterprise D bridge in that
Right,
improv
yeah.
scene.
Yeah,
So,
just
I
kind of make
really
that
feel like
connection.
that was the, "Hey, we're hanging a lantern on this,"
That makes
specifically.
sense.
Yeah, I really think that was purposeful. I really don't think they do much by accident, so I
Mhm.
really think that that was what they were going for.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is a good point too. I think the Titan, as unprepared as he was, helped him find his best Starfleet self. I think, yeah, because his experience on the Titan wasn't, he realized that wasn't the route he wanted to go, right? And
Mhm.
I feel like in Starfleet, there's tons of different routes to go. And he really found out that he wants the exploration on the ship with the string quartet and all of that stuff. He doesn't want to get in phaser fights every week and all that kind of thing. So, yeah, he's definitely
Yeah.
finding his best Starfleet self. That's a really good way to put that. I like that.
Yeah, and I really like what he says to the red shirts after after they're telling him, "Oh, well, you were embarrassed us. You were a buffoon, all these things." And he's like, "You guys are idiots. You're trying to become captains by basing your all your stuff on other captains. Just be yourselves. Figure out what
Hmm.
you're like." And I'm just like, "Oh my, he has grown so much." It just made me smile so
Yeah,
big. I'm like, "You tell him, Boymes."
that was awesome. And yeah, when the three of them like walk in the room and start making like speeches, and Boyman's like,
Competing
"Wait,
speeches, yeah.
yeah." And Boyman's like, "Wait, what are you guys doing?" And they're like, "Inspiring the crew." And he's like, "We're the crew." Like, what?
Yeah, are you gonna actually do anything?
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, and thank you so much for this. Computer, taffy, honey, shrimp, soda, corn, steak, chicken nugget, crispy lemon, rock candy, chili, gravy, chocolate sundae. Hot. Thank you so much for, I'm assuming that's perfectly transcribed because I did not do that. That's great. Thank you for that.
Absolutely perfect. I loved that. I also liked computer, birthday cake with candles, varying temperatures. Just
Oh, it's so great.
Oh, just such fast thinking. It's like he knew what it was that had put her in this situation, this cube, what I don't remember, something mood cube. And then he's like,
Mhm.
"Oh, it's probably this. I know what to do." And he just does
Yeah,
it. Just
that
does it.
was brilliant. That was so good.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I
Just
really, really,
basically
really love that.
making Tendy double over in laughter. That's
Mhm.
laughter really is the best medicine. Reader's
It
Digest was
is.
right.
Who knew?
Oh, so that's kind of the resolution of those two stories. They come together, and Tendy's back to normal. And I loved that they had the little bit of coda with them, with Mariner and Rutherford apologizing for being such sad sacks and bringing her down and saying, like, we should have been trying to adopt your enthusiasm and not trying to bring you down to our level. I thought that was great. That was really nice. And then, of course, the revelation that Tendy was the one that signed them up for that duty in the first place, which,
Hmm.
you know, that's she didn't know what it was. So she's like, oh, this looks cool. Let's try this. And, you know, that's the right attitude.
It is right
Anything
attitude.
could be the best thing. Anyway, yeah, I like that. Oh,
Okay.
Gesundheit. Bless you.
Sorry. Oh my
Oh, good.
goodness. Okay. I should be good for
Let's go for
another
4.
15 to 20 minutes. I mean, always in groups of 2 or 3. If it's more than 3, that's a problem. Because then I feel
Mm-hmm.
like my eyes are going to pop out of my head.
Not in a
Sorry.
fun
Sorry
lower
about
decks
that.
cartoon way, unfortunately.
No, 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 no. Not fun at all. Yeah, I
Yeah.
really appreciated everybody at the end and their attitudes and just especially Mariner. Her apology was really heartfelt, and
Hmm.
we can see how much she's grown as well,
Yeah.
because despite what people may think, she has had character development.
Oh,
And
absolutely. Yeah.
I love how she's like purposely using Tendy's first name after she gets pooped out of the slug. And she's like,
Oh, nice
Devana,
catch.
Devana. She's like, I'm not gonna forget your first name is Devana. I'm
That's
gonna be a better
cool.
friend.
I didn't catch that. That's awesome. I love that little bit of connective tissue from past episodes and stuff. That's excellent.
Yeah.
Um, let's talk a little bit more about Ramdar and this whole story with Ransom and Kayshawn as well, because they lose him. He's on the loose in the ship, and they fear that they may have overestimated him, or sorry, underestimated him. But that's when, as we mentioned earlier, he kind of lazily drifts past the window. It's like, maybe we didn't overestimate him.
Yeah, because
um,
they'd been knocked unconscious by Tendy in her
right, yeah.
scorpion form coming through. So, which honestly, in real life, if you've been knocked unconscious and you're out for more than a few seconds,
Oh
you
yeah.
probably have a serious brain injury. People don't get knocked out and stay out cold for like an hour. That's not how that works.
No, not good. Unfortunately, we don't just have doctors that can wave a light over your head and make it all better. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that's not so good. But yeah, Ramdar apparently was in the bathroom, and when he hit the flush button, the this hatch opened, and he was blown out into space. Which that'll come back at the end of the episode, and I'm glad it did, because I was waiting for that to happen. That was yeah. Uh, They have very large bathrooms, apparently.
Yeah.
Whew, I don't know what more to say about that, but yeah, that was interesting. But my favorite bit of this story, which is inevitable, like I was like, okay, I see where they're going with this, but I still like that it paid off, where Captain Freeman, is congratulating Ramdar on his great accomplishments as a spy, and he didn't even give away any of their secrets while getting all of their secrets. And she said, well, just so I can check, what were the secrets that you didn't give away, just so I can know how well you did. And he said, well, I didn't reveal that, we're planning on planting this bomb on Earth. Oh, okay. Yeah, good job. So yeah, I feel like we're setting up stuff for the Packlids in future episodes too, which is interesting.
It is. But are they smart enough to want to seek revenge? I mean, I just don't, they're just so dense.
Yeah. I feel like
And
one of the lessons with the Packlids, though, was like they were underestimated and then they became a
mhm,
threat. So I think, we got to make sure not to fall in that trap again, right? I don't know.
true. Well, the thing is that their weakness seems to be talking.
Yes.
So if you can just talk to them, you know,
Hmm.
you could probably get everything you need from them.
No. Oh, I did like it. It was really subtle. Romdar asked about the Crimson Force Shield, or Crimson Force Field, which was the ruse that Geordi did against them in Samaritan Snare in TNG.
Mhm.
That was a nice little like, oh, I caught that. That was cool.
Very
So I've got
nice.
long
Very nice.
memories anyway.
Yeah, except they still think that every ship is the
Yeah.
Enterprise.
Another Enterprise. Sorry. That
No,
season
not to,
finale was
don't be
so good.
sorry. Oh man, it was amazing. Just this episode really tickled me on so many levels.
Mhm.
But we haven't even talked about the part that made me laugh so hard I lost my breath.
Oh, there's a few more things to talk about, and I
Yeah,
figured one
we'll
of them
get
would
there.
be it for sure. So yeah, we'll get there because there's a little bit still where we have Casey steps
Oh,
up.
I forgot.
Yeah,
He's so
and
boring. I forgot about him.
right. So, but he says to Ransom like, "Oh, sir, the acting captain position, is that still? I'd like to nominate myself for that." Ransom's like, "What? Oh, yeah, right, sure, that fine, whatever." And
He says,
then
"Yeah, I don't care."
yeah, I don't care, whatever. And then goes to Boimler. Quick thinking in the mess hall there, Mr. Boimler. Nice job. I love that. That was terrific. Because, yeah, he got his hands dirty and fixed the problem, you know?
Hmm.
But Casey's going to be the acting captain and get to sit in the chair until Shax comes on the bridge 5 minutes later for the shift change and tells him to get the hell out of the chair. That was great. And then there's some mess in some airlock that he's going to be sent to go clean up now.
A pack led did something unspeakable in there.
Excellent. That was great.
Serves him right.
Absolutely. So yeah, I love I love that he kind of gets his comeuppance there. I love that Boimler gets recognition for what he did, which is nice. It feels like, and I know this is structurally part of the show. Like the Cerritos obviously is like a lower decks ship of the fleet, and the lower decks people on the lower decks ship. So Freeman may be starting to get a bit of recognition for what she's done, or should be getting recognition by being able to negotiate. It's not a great assignment, but negotiating a treaty, that's still a little bit of a step up. And Boimler is getting a little bit of recognition now. We're seeing just kind of inching towards their goals, maybe. And we know that Freeman's goal of getting recognition in the fleet, that's something that's been like an arc over the last 6 episodes. So, I love that those kind of things are kind of running in parallel there.
Indeed. Everybody's trying to get ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's trying to get ahead. And the thing is, sometimes getting ahead isn't as great as you might think.
Mm-hmm. Boimler on the Titan,
Sometimes,
case in point.
yeah, sometimes it's not it doesn't happen the way that it would work out best for the person who's trying to move up. So
Mm-hmm.
generally, I just tend to feel like if it happens, it happens, and if it doesn't, then there must be a reason for that. Because there are some things where I've had chances to move forward in something, and I just thought, "Do I really want that, though?
Mm-hmm.
Do I want all of this extra stuff? Or am I happy where I am with less responsibility?"
There's something to be said for that, for sure.
Yeah.
I've been offered positions where like the amount of responsibility and recognition would increase incrementally, and so would, some compensation for that, but the amount of headaches and work and that kind of thing would increase by a much greater margin. And you really have to do that kind of comparison there where you're like, I don't know if that's really worth it, so
Oh yeah, been
it's
there
definitely
several
true.
times. Because I always end up in positions of management. Always, including the
Mhm.
job that I have now, but the job that I have now is different from the kind of management that I've done before. So, but I just always end up in those positions, even though I don't really want to necessarily. So, yeah, it's one of those things where I'm like, can you just leave me alone and let me do my job?
Mhm.
Please just do that. So, but it's just everybody's different. I think it matters how you get to where you're going as much as getting there.
Yeah,
That's my personal feeling.
definitely.
And I think Boimler's really finally doing it on his terms.
Yeah, which is nice to see that growth in this episode and that realization here that the red shirts aren't where it's at apparently.
Well,
uh,
duh, they're calling themselves red shirts. And the
exactly.
the the beauty of it is the other three are just like, yeah, no, I'm gonna take some time off, maybe focus on my duties more, etc. They listen to what Boimler says and they're like, oh,
That makes a lot of sense.
yeah, yeah, I
Hmm.
don't think I want this right now. So
Yeah,
that was fascinating.
I appreciated that for sure. That was excellent. Well, let's move on to the last little bit of the episode here, where Mariner pulls out a submanifold casting stone that she smuggled out of Shax's pile of junk that they were getting rid of. And I'm gonna let you take this because I feel like this was your favorite part of the episode.
I laughed so hard. I thought I was gonna asphyxiate for a minute.
Hmm.
It was just they prank call Armus. And, and I'm just like, of all the people, of all the beings, you can prank call.
That was so good.
The first thing you think of is
Well, I love that it was Tendi. Tendi jokingly like says, "Oh, we should do this," and they're all like, "Huh."
Armus. Yeah.
That was
I
terrific.
was like, hey, Armus, we've got your stuff. What? I don't have any stuff. Where's my stuff? Just oh my
Oh,
word. Oh my word. It was
that was
just
so
it
good.
was and it was also another, reference to Tasha Yar being killed off and then kind of brought
Hmm.
back. So it was twofold. They're like, "Yeah, we remember Skin of Evil, okay?" But yeah, it was just
My favorite, my quote here from right at the end: "When I find you, I'm gonna kill you with a flake of my power. I am a skin of evil, more like a puddle of bleep. Damn you!" So good.
oh my
Oh
word.
man. Oh, it was so great. Well,
Whew.
sorry, I'm just on the Memory Alpha page and I'm just scrolling through, and they've got a picture of the Kazinti ensign next to the Kazinti telepath. So terrific. Oh man. Well, I guess that's the end of the episode. So, do you have any final thoughts and a rating for the Spy Humongous?
Well, I know. Yeah, this applies to the chat too, you guys. I there was I was just like, I don't care about seeing the backlit home world, but with the spy, it made it a little bit more interesting than just being on the planet that whole time. And
Hmm.
I thought this is not going to work. The spy is not going to get anything. But it was funny watching Ransom and Kayshawn try to keep him busy without really giving him anything
The
until
top secret
10
juice bar.
top secret juice bar. Yep. I really, there was just something about this episode that just really grabbed me and made me enjoy it so much. And it wasn't just any one particular thing, it was a combination of things. But I loved the character development of Boimler. I loved seeing a freaking captain's improv class. I just, they were just, oh. So, honestly, even though I was not that into the pack-led stuff on the planet, I still would rate this one very highly, and I feel like it's going to be, let's see, what random number can I come up with? Oh, I have a story to tell about that. 46 out of 47 screaming slugs for me.
Oh wow. I love it. That's excellent. Yeah, I have to agree with everything. I loved this episode. It was a lot of fun. It was another one of those ones, and I've been noticing that they tended to do this where like it'll start out and I'm like, I don't know how I feel about this. I don't really know. I don't know if I like where they're going with this. And then by the end, I'm like, oh yeah, right. I should trust the writers of this show because they know what they're doing with their characters. They know what the heart of this show is, which is the characters and their development and the fact that we as viewers care about them. They spent season 1 setting everything up, and now they just get to play in that universe. And sometimes some of it feels a little over the top and a little crazy, but that's what Lower Decks is. And I feel like they've earned the right to sorry, I'm trying to like read some of these as I'm talking as well, and it's not working out, but but yeah, I really appreciate the fact that, like I said, they've earned that right to play around and go big because they've proven that they know what they're doing. They know how to write Star Trek. They know how to write Star Trek in a loving way that respects the franchise, which I know is what a lot of people were worried about with this show. And I think they've really proven proven to everybody that they can do it. So yeah, I'm gonna have to give it, it's not quite a 10 out of 10 for me, but I'd say maybe a 9 out of 10 helmets that just gradually increase in size until you get to the Emperor's helmet, I guess, at the end. So yeah, excellent episode, lots of fun. So we should wrap things up here. I know TJ has some stars to look at, so we should probably let him get to that. And I'm sure everybody else has wonderful plans for their Friday night. So, Brandi, where can people find you when you're not talking Lower Decks here with me?
You can find me places doing things. I do podcasts and stuff. I do a show with my husband called the Dark Corner Podcast, which you can find at darkcornerpodcast.com. And we talk about our nerdy things. Yeah, thanks for the clank.
Sorry.
You're fine. You notice how I didn't even break when you did that until you said sorry? Anyway, we talk about whatever nerdy things we like from a sort of a dark perspective. And I do some Star Trek stuff outside of this with the podcast What the Future Holds, about Star Trek Discovery, Boldly Go, which is about Strange New Worlds, and the Vedic Assembly, which is about, guess what? Deep Space Nine. I don't know how you guessed that. And in fact, in an upcoming episode of the Vedic Assembly, we are going to cover my most hated episode of Deep Space Nine. So that's going to be interesting.
What is that, pray tell?
Paradise.
We've got to listen. Oh, yeah, it's not a favorite. It's definitely not a favorite.
I have so many thoughts.
Ooh, I'm looking forward to hearing those. It's not my least favorite, but it is down there. That's a good call.
Oh, I would rather watch Move Along Home 10 times than I would watch Paradise once.
I actually love Move Along Home. So
do I. So do I. I do. Thank you. I feel validated. Yeah, I know there are a lot of people who hate that. And yes, there are some moments in Move Along Home where I'm just like, ugh. But I still love it. I still love it. I still love Joel Brooks in it. But anyway, long story short, I do podcasts, and all of the things that I do, you can find by just following me on Twitter at Brandi112. Brandy's with an I, 12 is a number, and you can see all my goings on and that sort of thing. So, Dan,
Excellent.
tell me where else people can find you, because I know you've got a place.
Yeah, well, Positively Trek, of course, is the biggest thing. Right now, I'm doing that podcast with Bruce. Love doing that. That's yeah. So wherever you download podcasts, look for Positively Trek. And while you're at it, go to Facebook, join the Positively Trek discussion group. There's been a lot of new people joining that group in the last little while. We want to keep that up. I described it in the most recent episode of our book club as this little island of positivity in this sea of just really terrible social media. So it's where I go when I want to get away from all of that. And it's great conversations happening there. Wonderful people that make up that group. And if you're a wonderful person, and if you're watching this, I'm pretty sure you are, we'd love to have you as a part of that group. So you don't have to listen to the podcast to join the group, but listen to the podcast too. I think it's pretty good. So
It's a very good podcast. So, you don't have to listen, but you should.
yeah, that's my attitude as well. Thank you, by the way.
You're welcome.
And yeah, of course, subscribe to Kurt Ratz Productions if you haven't already. I promise I'm trying to catch up on the Lower Decks deep dives. I ran into a little bit of a snag with the last couple videos, but I'm working on them when I get a chance. I just got offboarded from my job that I was doing all summer. So I've done the last of the paperwork with regards to that, and I can focus on all of this stuff a lot more now. So I'm excited about that. There's good things coming for the channel, I promise. And that's about it. Twitter at Kurtratz. And see you out there. All right. Well, have a great night. Thank you all so much for watching. And we'll see you next week for, I don't think we have the name of the episode next week yet, but season 2, episode 7.